Hey friends, welcome back to the Mindful Dose podcast. You're listening to Adriana, and today's another Lunar Talks episode, and it's still eclipse season. So if you missed my episode on what the eclipses are, just scroll back and you'll find an informational video on what they are through the lens of astrology and how to work with them. Essentially, they are pretty much a big deal, and this is a full moon eclipse, so it's a lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. Now, this eclipse is the tail end of a story that began in September of 2024. In the Leo Lunar Talks episode, I mentioned how that was the beginning of a Leo Aquarius story. The Pisces and Virgo eclipses are still activated and they're wrapping up, and this is the second to last one of that story. So a story that has started 2 years ago is on its way to wrapping up, and this is part of that story. So if you're wondering what's going to happen, how is this going to show up, you really don't see that happening immediately. So you won't see it on the day of the eclipse, but it's something that will develop within the last 2 weeks of the eclipse. So for the next 2 weeks, that story is going to play out, and the intensity of the eclipse you'll feel for the next 2 weeks. So it won't be for another 2 weeks that you'll be able to look back and really kind of piece the story together. And even then, it won't be until the Pisces and Virgo eclipses are done next spring for you to really look back and see how all the dots create the picture that you're living in then. So be part of the experience, and I'll walk you through the ways that this lunar eclipse will manifest generally and how you can tap and work with the flow of that eclipse. Okay, so the Pisces lunar eclipse is happening on August 28th, 2026 at 12:19 Eastern Time. The eclipse is at 4 degrees and 54 minutes, so it's very early in the Pisces stars, and it's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter right now is in Leo. Our last eclipse also involved Jupiter, but in a different way. This lunation has Jupiter activated, but now Mercury is not there the way it was last week. Jupiter is isolated, it's alone, and it's having a conversation with Saturn and Aries. So there is some activity going on in the background under this eclipse. I want to take a look at the actual eclipse because the sun and the moon are obviously directly opposite one another under a full moon, but they both have an activation, a connection to Uranus and Gemini. So it looks like a triangle on the chart, and Uranus and Gemini is kind of butting its way in the center, in the middle of this conversation that the sun and the moon are having. And Uranus, that's exactly what Uranus does. It's like it likes to insert itself. I think the glyph itself is a good representation of how Uranus works in the chart. It just likes to insert itself and likes to create its own space within a dynamic that was already working. And it does that to show you that it can work in other ways. So this point in this story that started 2 years ago, there's some technological, innovative aspect to this point of the story. Things are kind of changing in a way that you wouldn't have known was available to access or tap into 2 years ago, but now it's presenting itself. And what that's doing is that it's inspiring some kind of shift within your mind to spirit connection. Because Virgo is more analytical, it's more of a processor, and Pisces is more of a feeler and a spiritual way of being. And now Uranus and Gemini is coming in the middle. Gemini and Virgo both share the same ruling planet, which is Mercury. And with Uranus and Gemini in the middle of Pisces and Virgo and this lunar activation, Uranus and Gemini is inviting something like a creative mind into the conversation, a creative point of the conversation, a creative detail in the story. There's something innovative involving this lunation. And one of the ways that there is a new activation, a new energy involved in the story is that the sun in Virgo, an earth sign, is making a contact, a point with Chiron in Taurus, which is new also. We've had Chiron in Aries for the last 7 to 8 years, and now Chiron's in Taurus just for like a moment this 2026 year. And the sun and Chiron are having their first connection from an earth perspective, these earth signs of Taurus and Virgo. So not only is there this like surprise innovative way of tapping into our spiritual and reality story, but there's also a new angle of healing. Like we're coming from a different place in our healing journey. So this is a big pivot. And the theme of this lunation is that it's a pleasant plot twist. There's a plot twist here. And the plot twist is that you deserve to now take your story to a new height, to a new level. And you wouldn't have known that all the detours and all the difficulties that you've had to go through for the last 2 years was actually to take you to a point in the story now to now use what's available to you. So technology has advanced and changed tremendously in the last 2 years, and it's going to continue to do that. Like the world is going to continue to change in a way that we're not going to really recognize it. So at this point in the story, take advantage of what's new and available to you. Work with it in a way that feels supportive of you and what you value, and see how you can utilize that to take your story into a new direction. So now the wellness behind this lunation, I want you to use this time to tap into your energetic space. And the way to do that is to tap into your breath. In yoga, there's something called pranayama. That's one of the other limbs of yoga that we have been expanding upon. And prana is life force. It's basically our measurement of energy under the yoga lens. And we use pranayama, which are breath techniques, breath exercises, to clear energy channels. Just imagine like a road of highways all around your body. If like you could put an egg shape around me, there's like channels of energy coming from different directions, and kind of like blood vessels and veins, but it's energy that it's kind of moving instead of blood. And these channels can get blocked. Sometimes they get blocked because we're experiencing feelings of the past that aren't allowing us to move forward. And one way to kind of free that blockage is to use the breath. So in the meditation for today's episode, I will guide you through a breath awareness exercise. And we'll use the breath in different forms to clear our energetic channels and then seal ourselves from returning back to the habits that would contribute to blockages. So before we move into that meditation, just make yourself comfortable. Make sure that your space is private enough for you to settle into a brief meditation practice. Welcome to your practice. Make yourself comfortable, supporting your spine nice and long. Create a natural space between your chin and your chest, allowing your shoulders to rest away from your ears. Once your body is settled, allow yourself to take a cleansing breath. As you inhale, gather all the anxiety, those energetic knots, and as you exhale, imagine all that energy smoothing out. Take another cleansing breath, breathing in to hold that anxious, knotted energy, and breathing out to feel it gradually soften. One final cleansing breath to anchor yourself in this practice. Follow the breath in and notice where that energy lives. Then as you follow the breath out, feel your energy effortlessly settle within. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And now begin to follow the breath moving in through your nose, down your throat, and into your lungs.
As you breathe out, feel that same breath travel back up from the lungs, through your throat, and out through your nose. Gradually link your awareness to the 3 phases of your breath, moving in through your nose, down your throat, and into your lungs. Then back out from your lungs, through your throat, and out through your nose. Gently feel the breath passing within you and back out again, allowing your mind to settle into this natural rhythm and nothing else. After your next exhale, gently rest your attention on your body. Feel the air against your skin. Feel the contact you're making with the surface beneath you. And simply notice yourself existing in this moment. Then take one final cleansing breath in, holding the energy of this practice. And as you breathe out, gently open your eyes and come back into the room. Now let's return to our lunar talks.
Welcome back from your meditation. I hope that you feel a little bit lighter and a little more inspired to continue on in this episode. So right now we're going to move into our tarot section and see what the tarot has to say. So I'm going to set the intention to pick out one card. All right, there it goes. One moment. All right, this is a good card. This is the Four of Swords. So this is definitely a mental, energetic space. And if you see, this person is resting and has some swords hanging up and one laying down. And what this means, it means to rest. Give your mind a break. Give your mind the freedom to relax and not activate more to-do tasks, more planning, more, none of that. Just take a break, let your mind be free. I hope that meditation activated this kind of Four of Swords energy. And if not, the ritual for this practice, for this lunation, is to choose 1 or 2 breath exercises, pranayama practices, to do like every day. And by doing them, you really tap into that energetic, that subtle body, that subtle energy that it like picks up on energy. When you walk into a room, you can already tell if you're going to have a good time or if, like, the energy is weird. Like, that part of you is so subtle, but you can make that subtle feeling a little bit stronger by using these breath exercises. And by using these breath exercises and clearing your energy channels, you clear up your mind from the past. You free it from living in the past. You free it from the anxieties of the future. And instead, you ground yourself in the present moment. So take out your journal, and I want to guide you through a journal prompt. Okay, so this eclipse is part of a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual and a reality check type of journey, and it's been a long one because at some point Saturn was also part of that spirituality part, which was kind of giving the influence of like grow up and mature and like be responsible with your spirituality, be an active participant of your reality. And now that Saturn's not there, we're still wrapping up that story, but it was a hard story and we're kind of ready for that story to close. So this journal prompt is an opportunity for you to just tap into that subtle energy after this meditation, after this tarot message. Open up your journal. Put a timer for 10 minutes and use your intuition to just free your thoughts out onto the paper. Use the pen, let it guide you. It doesn't have to be an essay format. It can just be keywords, just however way feels intuitive to you today. Allow yourself to express that onto paper for the next 10 minutes. Once you complete that journal prompt, I encourage you to take one full breath in and one full breath out to close the experience. Now, the ritual for this lunation is to pick 1 or 2 pranayama practices and use that every single day until the next lunation, just to clear up your energy field and maintain that throughout the rest of the eclipse season. And before we close out our episode, I want to affirm one thing, and I want you to say it to yourself, and that is, my breath is my superpower, and I yield it as I close out a chapter in my life. Thank you for joining me on this special Lunar Talks episode. I have a separate episode on what eclipses are and the history behind it from the astrological lens. You should definitely check that out because eclipses come and go every few months and they're very powerful. If you like this episode, let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, stay in touch by following me on Instagram at mindful.dose, checking out my website to sign up for my newsletter at mindful-dose.com. And I do have astrology and tarot readings available on my schedule. You'll find that on my website too. So I'll be back next week for a new moon in Virgo. And that one is a regular lunation. So take a deep breath. After this, we're going back to normal. See you guys next time.